In the lower sectors of Aryakal, the sky was never empty. It always carried the shape of a promise. Beneath it, people repaired the veins of a city that never repaired them back. Kalyan was born in alleys where hope was not spoken loudly. It was folded into cloth, scratched into walls, and carried like a secret. Above the smoke stood the Astraprana Academy, bright enough for everyone to see and far enough for most to never touch. On its gate, the empire wrote its most beautiful lie. Any soul may climb, any soul may rise, any soul may be recognized. But every morning the chosen walked to the gate before they had earned a single step. Kalyan watched them enter, not with envy, but with a question the city refused to answer. On his left wrist, his mother's copper coin reminded him where he began. The guards did not need to strike. The rail was enough. The rule was enough. Beyond this point, you observe, they enter. Years later, at the summit of KAALSTAMBH, Kalyan touched the same coin and remembered the first lie that had ever taught him to climb. The boy, who was once allowed only to watch, had reached the door no bloodline could open. Every step carried the weight of broken promises, burned lungs, and a life spent climbing from below. Before him, the summit opened like an ancient verdict. KAALSTAMBH was not a prize. It was a machine that remembered everyone who had failed. Kalyan stood before the crown node, the sacred recognition engine every house had worshipped and feared. For one silent breath, he let himself believe it. He had made it. Around him lay the proof of every other dream that had reached too high. Relic shells, crystallized Astraprana, the remains of failed ascensions. The crown node waited above the dais, bright as the sun and colder than judgment. Kalyan looked at it and felt no welcome, only recognition, only calculation. Then the chamber moved. Thin lines of sacred light reached out, measuring him without touch. His right arm answered first. The shard veins ignited, black and gold, as if the node had found something buried deeper than blood. The floor awakened. The walls answered. KAALSTAMBH was no longer silent. And high above the sacred light, an imperial seal burned red. Somewhere hidden in the system, authority had noticed him. The summit did not reject him. It was taken from him. Red protocol flooded the sacred chamber, and the path of recognition became a cage. Then the mark came, not as a wound, but as a verdict. The empire named him threat before he had spoken a word. Far above the fear and the blood, the council did not debate his pain. They measured his existence as a problem to be removed. A seal fell, cold, final. With one gesture, Kalyan stopped being a climber and became a target. Across the empire, towers answered in red. Every beacon, every patrol line, every watch system woke to the same command. The spear sentinels assembled without hesitation. No mercy, no capture. The hunt had begun. Kalyan ran through the bones of KAALSTAMBH as the mountain closed behind him. The ascent was over. Survival had begun. When he reached the outer path, he looked back once. The sacred route still stood, but it no longer belonged to him. In the ruins beneath forgotten stone, he learned the first rule of exile. Breathe quietly, bleed silently, do not be seen. Then a signal found him. Not red, not imperial, blue, coded, and impossible. Someone beyond the system knew he was alive. The clue was small, but it opened a direction the empire had buried. Beyond the wall, the truth had left a trail. Kalyan left the ruins behind. He had lost the sacred path, but another road had appeared. Darker, older, and meant only for those with nothing left to lose. Beyond the wall, the world did not end. It waited. Kalyan stepped into a silence older than the empire, where cities had fallen, but their geometry still remembered. Then he saw them, the ancient giants, not myths, not statues, but proof that someone greater had built this world first. The outsider shard opened what the empire had buried, a forbidden archive of lost builders, sealed histories, and broken truths. The wall was not protection, it was a cage, a line drawn to divide the living from the truth. Above the records, the stars aligned into a pattern the empire feared more than rebellion. A voice from the past flickered through the ruin, warning him that the first wall was only the beginning. But even beyond the wall, the empire watched. Red eyes searched the dead lands. When they found him, Kalyan did not fight to win. He fought to survive. In the ruins, an older path opened, hidden from imperial sight. And at its threshold stood someone who already knew his name and the truth he had only begun to understand. Kalyan was no longer alone. But the path ahead led deeper than exile, deeper than revenge, into the buried heart of the world. The ally did not offer him safety. She offered him a direction. The path ahead is not an escape. It is a climb into the truth buried beneath the world. The old system did not open for bloodline, rank, or command. It answered the scar the empire tried to erase. Kalyan was not outside the path. He was the key. A bridge of forgotten light appeared over the abyss. No one was meant to cross it. No one living was supposed to know it existed. But the empire had felt the wound in its own prison. Red eyes entered the blue dark. The hidden way was no longer hidden. They fought not for victory, but for another step forward. Every strike bought a breath. Every breath kept the path alive. At the heart of the buried world, every root became one. The alignment waited like a machine that had remembered its purpose. Then the system asked for a price. The path would open, but not for free. And the choice was placed in Kalyan's hand. The next threshold did not take them both. The ally reached for him. Kalyan reached back. The old world had already decided. When he crossed, the chamber split with golden fire. The first rupture shook the hidden world. Something ancient had woken. Far above, the empire felt it. No command was spoken, no panic was shown, but every eye knew the same thing. The forbidden signal had returned. Kalyan looked at his own hand and understood nothing. Only that the old world had found him. Only that the spark was no longer buried. He had reached the summit and lost it. He had crossed the wall and survived it. Now before him rose the real climb. His real climb has only begun. If this story moved you, subscribe and walk the next step of the path with us. Episode 2 is coming.